Blessed be, guys and ghouls. With Midsummer right around the corner, I thought now would be a really great time to do the next installment in our Sabbat series. Midsummer, also called Litha, falls between June 20th and 23rd in the Northern Hemisphere and December 20th and 23rd in the Southern Hemisphere. This is the time when the goddess, having conceived on Beltane, is now, like me, great with child, and the god is at his peak. This is a time of balance between the masculine and the feminine. It's a time of fulfillment and celebrating achievements. It's a time when traditionally people would celebrate the crops that were planted in spring, which are now fully grown and approaching harvest. It's important to remember that now the sun god is at his peak, but from this time until Yule, his light will be waning. So now's the time to celebrate the light. Traditionally, people would stay up all night on Midsummer's Eve, gathered around a bonfire traditionally constructed of oak and placed on the top of a hill. The Norse in particular would form a fiery procession of torches to the chosen bonfire site. This was also a traditional time to gather herbs for magic. This is a good time to decorate your altar with summertime fruit and flowers. It is also traditionally a time of rededication to the god and goddess. This is a really good time for noon rituals, sunbathing, outdoor picnics, and cloud scrying. This is also a really good time to perform rituals based off of masculine energy and things that will get you fired up about life. This is also a time when the Fae are known to come out and pull pranks on humans, hence William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Because of this, it's usually a good idea to leave out offerings to appease them. Traditionally, a candle is lit at sunrise and must remain lit throughout the day. This is especially important with inclement weather. Now, I would be grossly amiss if I also didn't mention the Midsummer festivals in Sweden. Essentially, the entire country shuts down for Midsummer, and everyone flocks to the countryside for food, friends, and dancing around the maypole. Now, the correspondences for Litha are: for the animals, butterfly, bee, wren, robin, and a snake. Colors: gold, red, orange, yellow, blue, and green. Foods: all early summer fruits and vegetables, ale and mead, honey cakes, red wine, strawberries, sun tea, and herbal teas. Herbs and plants: mugwort, vervain, honeysuckle, chamomile, rose, lily, oak, lavender, ivy, yarrow, fern, elder, wild thyme, daisy, carnation, and St. John's wort. Gems: amber, tiger's eye, jade, emerald, topaz, citrine, and garnet. In closing, I thought I would share with you a story about the sun from Native American lore. This tale comes from the Hopi people, and some of these themes might sound really familiar to you. This just shows that whether your people come from this side of the ocean or the other side of the ocean, we are all one people and we are all connected. In the beginning, there were only two: Tawa, the sun god, and Spider Woman, the earth goddess. All of the power and the mysteries of the above belonged to Tawa, while Spider Woman controlled all of the magic of the below. In the underworld, abode of the gods, they dwelt, and they were all. There was neither man nor woman, bird nor beast, no living thing until these two willed it be. In time it came to them that there should be other gods to share their labors. So Tawa divided himself, and there was Muiyemwa, god of all life germs. Spider Woman also divided herself, and there was Huzuriwati, the woman of all hard substances, the goddess of all hard substances of wealth, such as coral, turquoise, silver, and shell. Huzuriwati became the always bride of Tawa. They were first lovers, and from their union came those marvelous ones, the magic twins, Pukunhoya, the youth, and Palunhoya, the echo. As time unrolled, there followed Hikanavaya, the ancient of the six. This refers to the four world quarters, the above and the below. Man-eagle, the great plumed serpent, and many others. But Masahuhu, the death god, did not come to these two, but was bad magic, who only appeared after the making of the creatures. And then it came that these two had one thought, and it was a mighty thought, that they would make the earth to be between the above and below, where now there was only shimmering endless waters. So they sat them side by side, swaying their beautiful bronze bodies to the pulsing music of their own great voices, making the first magic song, a song of rushing wind and flowing waters, a song of light and sound and life. I am Tawa, sang the sun god. I am light, I am life, I am father of all that shall ever come. I am Kokyan Wuti, the spider woman crooned. I receive light and nourish life. I am mother to all that shall ever come. Many strange thoughts are forming in my mind, beautiful forms of birds to float in the above, of beasts to move upon the earth, and fish to swim in the waters, intoned Tawa. Now let these things that move in the thought of Tawa appear, chanted Spider Woman, while with her slender fingers caught up the clay from beside her and let the thoughts of Tawa take form. One by one she shaped them and laid them aside, but they breathed not, nor moved. We must do something about this, said Tawa. It is not good that they lie still thus and be quiet. Each thing that has a form must also have a spirit. So now, my beloved, we must make mighty magic. They laid a white blanket over the figures, a cunningly woven woolen blanket, fleecy as a cloud, and made a mighty incantation over it. And soon the figures stirred and breathed. Now let us make ones unto like you and me, so that they may rule over and enjoy these lesser creatures, sang Tawa, and Spider Woman shaped the thoughts into woman and man figures like their own. But after the blanket magic had been made, the figures remained inert. So Spider Woman gathered them all in her arms and cradled them, while Tawa bent his glowing eyes upon them. The two sang the magic song of life over them, and at last each human figure lived and breathed. Now that was a good and mighty thing, said Tawa. So now all this is finished, and there shall be no more new things made by us. Those things we have made shall multiply. I shall make my journey across the above each day to shed my light upon them and return to Huzuriwuti at night. And now I shall turn my blazing shield upon the endless waters, so that the dry land can appear. And this day will be the first day upon earth. Now I shall lead all these created beings to the land you will cause to appear above the waters, said Spider Woman. Then Tawa took down his burnished shield from the turquoise wall of Kiva and swiftly made his glorious way to the above. After Spider Woman bent her wise, all-seeing eyes upon the thronging creatures around her, she wound her way among them, separating them into groups. Thus and thus shall you be, and thus shall you remain, each one in her own tribe forever. You are Zunis, you are Kohoninos, you are Paiutes, the Hopis, all people were named Kokyan Wuti then. Placing her magic twins beside her, Spider Woman called all the people to follow where she led. Through all the 4 great caverns of the underworld she led them, until finally they came to an opening, a sipapu, which led above. This came out at the lowest depth of the Pisisbaya, now known as the Colorado River, and was the place where the people would come to gather salt. So lately had the endless waters receded that Turkey, Koyona, pushing early ahead, dragged its tail feathers through the mud, leaving black bands there that would remain to this day. Mourning Dove flew ahead, calling for some to follow, and those who followed where his sharp eyes had spied out springs and had built beside him were called Hu and Yamu after him. So Spider-Woman chose a creature to lead each clan to where they were to build their house. The puma, the snake, the antelope, the deer, the other horned creatures, each of them led a clan to a place to build their house. Each clan henceforth bore the name of the creature that had led them. The Spider-Woman spoke to them thus: "The woman of the clan shall build the house, and the family name shall descend through her. She shall be house builder and homemaker. She shall mold the jars for the storing of food and water. She shall grind the grain for food and tenderly rear and teach the young. The man of the clan shall build kivas of stone under the ground. In these kivas, man shall make pictures of sand as altars. Of colored sand shall he make them, and they shall be called ponya. The man too shall weave the clan blankets of their proper symbols. The man shall fashion himself weapons and furnish his family with game." Stooping down, she gathered some sand in her hand, letting it run out in a thin, continuous stream. "See the movement of the sand? That is the life therein that will cause all things to grow. That is the life that will cause all things to grow therein. The great plumed serpent lightning will rear and strike the earth, fertilizing it. Rain cloud will pour down waters, and Tawa will smile down upon it, so green things will spring up to feed my children." Her eyes sought out Tawa, who was descending towards his western kiva in all the glory of red and gold. "I go now, but have no fear, for we too will be watching over you. Look upon me now, my children, ere I leave. Obey the words I have given you, and all will be well. If you are in need of help, call upon me, and I will send my sons to your aid." The people gazed wide-eyed at her shining beauty. Her woven upper garment of soft white wool hung tunic-wise over a long blue skirt. On her left side was woven a band bearing the butterfly and squash blossom, in designs of red, yellow, and green, with black appearing between them. Her neck was hung with heavy necklaces of coral, turquoise, and shell, and pendants of the same hung from her ears. Her face was fair, with warm eyes and tender lips, and her form was most graceful. Upon her feet were skin boots of gleaming white, and now they turned toward where the sand spun around them in a whirlpool fashion. She held up her right hand and smiled upon them, then stepped upon the whirling sand. Wonder of wonders, the sand seemed to swiftly suck her down until she was entirely gone from their sight. Thank you so much for listening to my talk about Litha. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments down below what plans you have for the upcoming Sabbat. Stay spooky.